incredible. Weapon X's resilience to flat screen gaming is incredible. Nothing short of amazing. Okay, we need to move his training up. Introduce VR. VR? Yes, VR. We'll be able to monitor his hand-eye coordination with the best VR training program known to man. At least the most popular according to Steam.
Doctor? I think I'm making Weapon X look crazy. Like he's been screaming in his sleep and stuff, and I don't know, he's making all the other girls a little antsy.
Well, he is a big hairy animal. Of course he's gonna make you antsy.
I don't mean that kind of antsy. Maybe we can let him play a different game on a 24/7 Beat Saber. Doc, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Nonsense! He loves it. Look at him.
No more Beat Saber! I want some AAA games! At least let me play some modern ones. You monsters! I'm getting out of here!
What's up, player? Yeah, here at the Living Dead Talking Head. Coming at you live today with Daigo and VRified Games. How's it going, Daigo?
Hey Ed, how's it going?
You tell me, motherfucker, what we playing today?
Well Ed, today's a good example of an experiment gone wrong. Okay? Much like the Weapon X program where they were too busy asking, could they do it? They didn't stop to think, should they do it?
What the hell you getting at, man?
Well, let's just say I tried to port 2 games over to VR, and while it did technically work, maybe they're better played in flat. And yeah, whew. Okay. So the 2 games in question are the 2 main Wolverine games that you can play with Dolphin Emulator. So you've got X2 Wolverines Revenge, which was released in 2003 for Gamecube, PS2, and the other game is X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is based on the movie of the same name, which was, wait for it, which was released for PS2, PSP, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. I hope I didn't leave a system out, I may have. But that was, yeah, that movie was heavily marketed, and so the tie-in game was released on every system known to man at that time. So yeah, both games are available on GameCube and Wii, which the Dolphin can emulate, which ergo means I can also get these games into VR. And yeah, it technically works. I can get a first-person camera, I can get the game running in VR, but and this is probably the only time you'll ever hear me say this. It might have been better not to. Now, as a fun experiment, yeah, it works. It's a cool experiment. It's cool to be in Wolverine's claws, so to speak. That's always great. Yeah, but you'll see. You'll see in the video. The gameplay, it just doesn't really work in first person. For both games, probably due to age actually, it's very repetitive gameplay. Yeah, it gets old fast. Now, when you play in third person, it doesn't seem to. I don't know, maybe it's the animations or whatever you're looking at, but in first person, yeah, it definitely takes something away, which is not something you're ever likely to hear me say. But here it goes. Okay, so how's this video going to work? Well, if you look at the bottom right hand side of your screen, whenever a game is being showcased, you will see the name of that game there, so you know which game is being played at any given time. Yeah, so, okay, I guess let's start with X2 Wolverines Revenge. So, okay, X2 Wolverines Revenge, it's a tie-in game, in name only. It's a tie-in game to X-Men 2, X2, X-Men United, whatever title, whatever part of the world you're in. The second X-Men movie. This is the tie-in game for that. Now, again, there was another tie-in game called X-Men the Game, which was basically an in-betweenquel. Story-wise, it's between X-Men 1 and X-Men 2. It's officially a tie-in to X-Men 1, the movie, but it came out around the time of X-Men 2, the movie, so... Anyway, we're not going near that game. But anyway, I thought I'd bring it up. So yeah, this is the other tie-in game. This is X2 Wolverines Revenge. And although it is a tie-in game, it's got nothing at all to do with the movie. It's basically adapting, and again loosely, but it's adapting the Wolverine comic books and the X-Men comic books of the 2000s and before. In that sense, it's quite fun. It's story-wise, it's decent. It's a Wolverine adventure. The game has not aged well, and you'll see during the gameplay. It has a lot of those broken game design tropes that were around at the time. Some work, some don't. It was kind of like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Was it a hack and slash kind of God of War type game, or was it a stealth Metal Gear Solid type of game? So it tried to do both, with varying degrees of success, as you'll see. But in first person, this game actually translated so easily into first person perspective. And I have to say, it is cool to look down and to pop your claws. This game gives you the ability to pop your claws and retract them. So that was kind of cool. So, one other cool little tidbit about this game. Mark Hamill voices Wolverine. Yeah, that Mark Hamill. No, really. Mark Hamill voices Wolverine. So, there's that.
Stay down and watch your heads.
That's that one. Then there was X-Men Origins Wolverine. Okay, so this is also a tie-in game for the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie, which was heavily hyped at the time. Turned out to be a huge disappointment for everyone. Moviegoers, casual moviegoers, comic book fans, you name it. Across the board, I don't know a single person that looks at X-Men Origins Wolverine and goes, yeah, that's a great adaptation. But the game is superior. The game is awesome. Not this game, mind you. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. This game, as I already previously mentioned, was released on every system known to man. Now, the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PC, that generation of systems, that's the superior game. That's the game to play. It's fantastic, you guys. Way before Arkham Asylum, this was the comic book game to play. This was amazing. Now, the version we're playing, the Wii version, it's not that game. It's extremely pared down, it's very linear, and it's very repetitive. Oh, and don't get me started on the motion controls. During the time this was released, around 2009, this is when everyone was releasing games on the Wii, because that system was just selling like hotcakes because of its price point, so everyone wanted a piece of the action. But they were releasing mediocre games, so you get like big titles like Call of Duty, you name it. They were releasing ports, and I say that with inverted commas, they were releasing versions of their games onto the Wii system. And yeah, if you look up tacked on controls in the Oxford Dictionary, you're going to see this game in there. The motion controls are definitely an afterthought in this, and it's, yeah, you can definitely see that when you're playing the game. Also, in terms of the VR port, it does work. I can get a first-person camera, but there are some drawbacks. There's no HUD, so on-screen prompts, HUD, non-existent. I just cannot get that to work in VR. So if you're unfamiliar with the game, you might struggle with trying to figure out what you're supposed to do next. Yada yada. This is one of those games that kind of holds your hand, but it kind of has to, because you're not really sure what you're supposed to do unless it was a screen prompt. Yeah, it's one of those kind of games. Secondly, although the camera does work in first person, sometimes the camera gets a mind of its own. So if you are in between a group of enemies, the camera it'll zoom out so you can see the enemies in the normal third person kind of gameplay. If you're next to a wall, it'll zoom away from the wall. So that does kind of mess up your perspective in the first person. Still, as an experiment to be in Wolverine's shoes, that's always cool. Out of the two games, I would say that actually X2 Wolverines Revenge is the better port for VR. It's certainly not the better game. But in terms of getting it in VR and getting everything to work as it should, that's the game to play. Now, would I recommend playing either of these games in first person? No, I wouldn't. As a fun experiment, yes, but as a serious playthrough, stick to the original third-person perspective. Even in VR, it'll work. But yeah, these games are definitely supposed to be played in third person. One of the probably only times you're ever going to hear me say it doesn't work in first person. But there you go. Oh, and if you're going to play X-Men Origins, play the PS3, Xbox 360, PC version. Yeah, don't play the Wii version, for the love of God. Okay, so yeah, that's it. You can have a look at the gameplay anyway. It's what it is, just bear in mind it's an experiment. I will release guides if you want them, but I don't really imagine you would. But anyway, if you want them, I'll let you know how I've done it. Yeah, as a fun experiment, it's great. To actually play the games this way, I'm gonna have to say nah. Okay guys, well, that's it for me anyway. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, queries, all that kind of good stuff, you know where to put them. I'm always here, I will answer you if I can. Yeah, VRified Games out.
Yeah, VRified Games out the material to release this crap? Jesus, titty fucking.
Put him up and freeze.
He's been through here.